was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle.
This is not justice! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No peace! No justice!
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K-Man, Mr. Gee paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child?
Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive, gotta survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I've gotta survive, gonna survive. Said I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna survive. Even with your lies.
This is the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Dr. Meleeka Clary is a clinical psychologist, actress, director, model, and human rights activist. On this program, Dr. Meleeka guides you toward a more fulfilling life through the power of positive psychology. And now, please welcome your host, Dr. Meleeka Clary.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recorders. We're going live. Hello, people. Welcome. I haven't seen a lot of you for a while. I have to say them holidays, they've come, and I thought I'd like to take a break too. So I hope everyone from the last time we spoke, I believe it was a little before Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving because I did. I celebrate every day. I try to, because days are short these days and you just never know what's going on. So, hold on. Let me say, thank you, God, for getting me up this morning and be able to say I love you to my loved ones and do this show. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Yeah, got to remind myself to do that because the maker had got me up to be able to do something today. I don't know what exactly all the things, but I do know I'm here on the show. So that's one of them. Check that off the list. And was able to say I love you to my children. That was another one. Check that off the list. And caregiver for my mother. I got a little list. Okay. So let me just go on for that. But I have to say I'm very, grateful. We have a special guest. She's been on my show all the time. I want to say so many times. We talk about a lot of things. Today, we'll talk about several things. Could be law related, could be psychology related, or just human nature. We are going to get into it today. But I do want to give out some, I want to say shout outs and some thank yous, appreciations, and also to let you know in the next couple of weeks, you would not probably see me, maybe reruns, I'm not sure, or I just take a break because we have Christmas coming up. It's on a Thursday. We have New Year's coming up on Thursday, and I'm entitled to take a break too. So I decide that these are the days that I will be taking breaks on holidays, and maybe there's some other events that I may have to attend and I might have to take a break. But there's shows out there. There's reruns and stuff like that. I do always want you to watch those segments because those are testimonies from guests and, things that I've said too, that you can relate to, some helping self-help tips. How's that? And so I always want you to review the audios and the videos and stuff like that, because they are there for you. I mean, my show is live. It crosses over a lot of places, and I just want you to get something out of it, because I do this because, first of all, being a doctor in clinical psychology, and it's something I love. I love doing it. And I love sharing is caring. And I think we all know that of me. But even if I have new followers and new listeners, I want to let you guys know I do this because I want you to have a better life. And I want to too. So if I do something and I experience something, most of the time I love to share it with you. And maybe it's to help you out with your life. And maybe it could help somebody else you know with their life. And it's just better than hearing from someone than someone not sharing anything, because some people just don't want other people to get ahead in life, and they don't mind them struggling. I do. Now, don't get me wrong. It's information I might tell you or explain to you that you may not utilize that information, and you may, but you know what? At least I shared it with you. And I think that is so important, is that I did not keep that for myself and had a selfish act. I say a selfish act because I don't want to share the information with you and don't want you to do better for you when I can't. Hopefully you listened, and if you don't, at least you know the information is there and the self-help tools are there if you want to utilize those tips or not. It's your choice. Choice theory. We do have choices at the end of the day. We have a choice to listen or not, to act or react, and that's so important. And what's special about being a psychologist is that I love learning new behaviors. I love it. It just does something for me. I love joy. And a lot of people, we try to have that, or at least peace too. I like that too. That comes with it. But I will say that sometime every day, it's just different to have that. It's different when you get up out of the bed and you don't know what you're walking into. Sometimes you're playing the day and you think that, hey, it's supposed to go this way, and it doesn't. Something, a curveball just hits you and you just off your game. And that's sometimes the way it is. And I have to, explain that more, because even me being a caregiver, I told you guys I take care of my mom because I'm the main caregiver for my mother. I'm the one to be able to do it. She's been living with me for a very long time. So now she's at that point that she needs help. And unfortunately, I think we're going to talk about some other things, and I'm just going to highlight, caregivers. Like if you have people caregiving for you or a company, sometimes this company just don't have the people to help you. So we're in that situation that we just don't have people that want to help my mom, and I have to step up and be there, and we just can't guarantee. It's not a guarantee you're going to get some help from people, or even the healthcare system, or she has insurance, but the companies you have to go through, they're like not really dependable, unfortunately. So it's good that she does live with me, because if not, no one will be able to take care of my 82-year-old mom. And I have to say that in that way, because it's sad, because, we want to get older, and this is what we have to look forward for, try to figure it all out. We hope our children take care of us, but sometimes people get busy in their life, not saying that they don't want to, but it's just that sometimes people are just busy doing their own thing. And if you're lucky, you get one or two maybe to help. And you'll be grateful. And going into children, I will say my daughters and my son, they did wonderful caregiving over the weekend, while I was able to attend the International Associations of Top Professional Gala. I was awarded the psychologist of the decade. See, I gotta say that. I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, that was so amazing. I wasn't really going to attend, but my children and my friends, very big supporter, and said you should attend, and we will try to do what we got to do. And they did. It was planned. They was able to take off from work. You kind of, they're adults. I mean, they got to live and do their thing. But I was so appreciated, and my son as well. Like, they rallied up. And, even if my son he's young, at least he came over and, spent some time with his grandmother. My daughters, they came together to help. And those are my pioneers. I will say that. So straight out shout out to my children, because when there is times in need, we all have our lives. They do try their best to help out. And they did wonderful with helping out with my mom, because like I said, I'm the main caregiver for my mother. And I had a ball. I had a good time. It felt so good to do something for myself and to be acknowledged by, IAOTP. I appreciate you guys. Stephanie, I love you. Jeannie, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for acknowledging me. And I had a wonderful time at the gala. It was such a special time for me and wonderful. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I have not been out of town and haven't did anything. A lot of things I have a little here and there, but that was just great. I had a great time celebrating the award that you believed I was worthy. And so thank you so much for that special moment, because it felt so good to go crossing over that stage and just get the dancing that crazy. And I was just full of joy. So I couldn't even tell you. That's just me. I was full of joy and happiness. So thank you again. And that's something that I think more so that I was awarded, but I felt more at peace that I knew my mom was taking care of my children, came together. It's what I raised. I raised them to come together in these moments, and not to be self-centered and think about just yourself and think about somebody else. And I see it all the time still in some other events, but I really was able to see my children at their best when it came to taking care of my mom, and for their mom to be able to be celebrated and accept the celebration. And so thank you. I love you guys so much. So I really have to let my children know that, because sometimes when you talk about your kids, you just hope that some of the things that you raised them with, like values, that you will see them, not after you go, you hope they practice that. But when you see them work, you see the prayer, you see that, it's a wonderful feeling. It really is. And I had an amazing time. I met so many people, and I just have to say that I met a lot of people. I met people I didn't even expect to meet. I mean, there's so many, but I have to say there is one that I was like, oh my gosh, wow. And I have to say Scott Bale. Now, I don't know if y'all remember Scott Bale, but during my times, that was Happy Days, Chachi. He played Chachi, and Charles in Charge and Joni and Chachi. I mean, it was, I was feeling like a little kid all over again. And I was like, is that Chachi? And he was receiving an award himself for his charity. And it is like, wow. It was like, wow, I'm in the arena with some people that I grew up, and I'm watching them and receive awards for their hard works. And it was just unbelievable. So when you're in that arena and you're looking at people that you watch on TV when you was a little girl, you're just like, how did I get here? And I did have conversations with him. He's very nice, and his wife, Renee, they are amazing people. And we had a conversation during the gala, and it's just lovely to speak to people and get to know them a little bit more than just what you see on TV, because everybody has a story. Okay. And I just love that. So the connections and the network, because I network with so many people that I will be bringing on my show. See, that's what I do. I like meeting people. And then when I meet them, I'm like sharing them with you. So that's something that I love to do, because there might be people you're like, oh my gosh, I see that person. But what are they doing and how they get through life? Because, you be thinking, oh, they're not human beings. They are human beings, people. Like you and I, we're just civilians here. They are too. And everybody has a story in life. Life be life in. Yes, it is. Every day. So I will say that in just the conversations with some people, I've realized life be life in. Okay. So with that being said, also you've seen the trailer. Three Corners Deception movie still on Prime Video. So go see that movie. And oh, thank you, fans. I love you. Oh, I love you all who have been seeing that movie. And even if you've seen it more than once, thank you. Three Corners Deception is still available on Prime Video. And please tune in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. I know it's been a little different. Like you might see me, you might not, or you might see reruns. It's just because, I love doing this, but I want to fill my cup too. So I could be the best version of Dr. Meleeka Clary. Plus, I take care of my mom too. And I want to make sure everything's good. But I also want to let you know that I like taking breaks too. And I like celebrating holidays too. So I have to let you know that. So if you see me, it's not because I don't want to, it's because I'm celebrating too. Or I'm doing something, but I didn't forget about you. And that's so important. So, but you see me on the internet, you do know what I be doing because I do network, and I also I'm on social media. So I try to do stuff that you see what I'm doing, what's going on, and share people. And thank you for sharing, because I know there's some of you guys out there that sharing away. I love it. I love it. I love it. So keep doing what you're doing, and keep on being positive, because I think that's so important. And before I even go into all that, like I said, today's going to be a little spin about a little this, a little that, a little this, a little that. Why? Because we're running into Christmas, and then we're running into the New Year. Like, what is that looks like for you? Well, I don't know what that looks like for me. Consider I go one day at a time. But I do got some wish lists and things you might want to think about. And let's just get some tips out there. Maybe there's some things we can get some information, maybe by, my next guest. And when my guest coming, she's been on the show numerous of times. But before I go on break, I will introduce you to her when I get back. Because she's my girlfriend. She's been in the movie Three Corners Deception, and you've seen her numerous of times over here. That is my ride or die. Okay, you will continue to see her because she do a lot of things. She got so many gifts, and she's a brilliant woman. She's really an amazing individual, inside and outside. So I always want to share that with you. With that being said, I'm going to let you know. You do see under here, you can Google Dr. Meleeka Clary, the Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, X. You see me, Snapchat, all that good stuff, LinkedIn. Please keep following me, people. Keep on sharing. And like I said, if you don't find me, you can always Google me. I'm not hiding, folks. But remember, always be positive, and remember, have compassion. You never know what somebody's going through. You just don't. We're going to talk about that too, because I think that's something we really need to share among a lot of people. Okay. So with that being said, we are going to take a brief commercial. And we will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary show. Do not go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back. Now, I always tell people communication is so important. If you are feeling a certain way, what's the best way? Accept it and talk about it. How do you feel about this situation? Talk about it. That's the best advice, is talk about how you're feeling about the situation. Whatever is bothering you, whatever's you're carrying that weight, talk about it. Because if you release it, you'll feel much better. You might think that, you're going to be judged. If you feel that someone else is in your family is keep on letting you know all the problems that have happened, and they won't let it go, let them know so then you can let it go. Explain how you feel, that I'm letting that go. There was nothing I could have done. And if I did do something, well, mistakes happen. We all make mistakes, and that's what happened. Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Woo! As we go live. Yes, we are. All righty. Now, I told you when I get back, I got this beautiful woman stand by. Okay, so you've seen her on Three Corners Deception. You have seen her on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on Bold and Brave TV. And now you have seen her on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Her name is attorney Kristin Szczerbik. Come on, darling. Come here, beautiful. Where are you? Hey!
Hello.
How are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing okay.
Well, that's wonderful. I see you got a Christmas tree already up.
I do. That's okay. It seemed like a nice backdrop, so I moved over a little bit.
It's beautiful. You know, I don't do mine until, well, I didn't do mine yet. It's the 23rd I'm going to do it because all my children can get together in that fashion and we like to put the tree up together. So I try to do that. Yeah, so the 23rd is it. And we usually get a real tree. So we do the decorating and everything. I love it. Some of them can't stand it only because they have to clean it up later. But people don't understand. I don't just take my tree and put it up and then keep it, up there until New Year's? No, honey, this tree's gonna stay up there until March.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Yeah, this is a real tree too. I've only had a real tree for the past 20 years. We used to get the kind that still has the root ball, and we plant it thinking we'd create this beautiful forest of past Christmas trees.
Yeah.
But they died, so now I just do the cut ones.
Oh my goodness.
And this is early for me. There have been some years where it's Christmas Eve. In fact, I have a good story about that with my kids that I created a memory. It was just one of those years where just nothing seemed to be working time-wise. And all I had was this tiny little tree from a store. It was real, but tiny. It was just decoration. Well, I realized it's Christmas Eve and we didn't have a tree up. We get home, put the kids to bed, all that kind of stuff. While they were sleeping, we took care of getting a big real tree. And then I carefully put on different the same kind of ornaments, but bigger. And then left a note from Santa and convinced them that it was the same tree that grew overnight. And they believed it for a couple of years. I still tell them what happened, but they're adults now, so they don't believe it anymore. But you got to make do with what you have.
Hey, that's the truth. You got to do what you got to do. Believe me, I told my stories. I sure did. I told my stories. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it looks wonderful. Yes, and I think we keep it because I know I keep it because it's a great night light.
Yes. Oh, I love it with the
Don't
light.
you?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been loving that part. I just it brightens it up and everything. So yes, if it lasts till March, it's going. Because I swear, I think I did one time all the way till April. They were like, when are you going to take your tree down? When it looked like it needs to be taken down.
Were there any needles left?
Yeah. I water it.
Oh, okay.
It sucks a lot of water, and I water it every other day or something. I water that joker up. Mm-hmm. I love it. I get all of it in.
The smell and everything. Everything.
Yeah, I love it. I just love it. I've always had real trees as growing up. So I just love it. It's just one, I guess, tradition that I just feel like I want to carry on. So, and I've been doing it. So, but my kids, I'm not sure if they're going to carry that because they don't like to clean up. And one of them, he goes both ways. I can do a fake tree if I could do a real tree. So, you kind of fight with that. My daughter's, not sure. One might not even get the tree. So I don't know. But they seem to love it and we make time to do it. So that's what's great.
That's what
that's right. Kristin, we talk about law, we talk about life, we talk about people. And I think I want to talk about things like, I always try to talk about compassion. But here's the thing about it. I'm going to take Christmas off and New Year's. So when we're talking about people, this is for your New Year's too. And I really want to dive in a question. Well, not a question, but kind of like a conversation about what do compassion mean during these times of celebration. And the reason why I asked that question, because there is, and I had Dr. Grant on the show not too long ago, and we talked about compassion, how some people don't have compassion because they're not raised to feel like that. So if they don't feel like they had compassion, they're not going to offer compassion. So if they don't feel like they want to love on you because they haven't been loved on, they're not going to express that. And I get it. But here's the thing. My thing is I'm always trying to change behaviors and I think that, if we can share compassion, especially during these times, because some of these days coming in, like these holidays, it's not always the best for someone else. And I say that because I do have a family member that had was in a car accident, on the 29th in December this month, and didn't admit, and this was years back, but that's always stewing in the media, in one of my immediate family members, and because they lost, would have been wife to be and a mother of the child, which is my niece mom. So so when I hear things and I feel that in some of the colleges I want to celebrate, but then I'm never going to forget that. So sometime when I talk about compassion, people, when you're mingling and talking to people, sometimes I think we need to realize there's other people are moving on with other family members that's not in their life. And it could be some people just pass away because of old age, but it could be tragedy so when we have these holidays, sometimes it's not joyful for them. So when we look at that in the sense of that big word, compassion, what do that mean to you, Kristin? Because it may not mean that the same as it means to me. And the reason why I say that, like I told you, what Dr. Grant said, some people just don't have it.
That's true. Some people don't come to it naturally, or if they do, it's been suppressed because of life experiences. I would propose that we do all have that natural ability within us because of who we are and how we were made, but sometimes life gets in the way. But compassion is so important, not just during the holidays, but 365, right? But during the holidays, so much comes up. And I can tell you, for example, in my family law cases,
yes,
people are taking a break from courts, but the attorneys aren't, because that's when my highest volume of calls is because of the conflict that's happening with parenting time and all these issues. And people just want to be with family, those kinds of things. But the other thing you touched on is grief. And I too experience a loss and a grief over Christmas. And you come up with this dichotomy of how do we celebrate with the current family that exists? How do we honor the loss? And by honor, I mean, there is somebody not in our life and we have a grief. And do you hide that? How do you not take away from the experience of the rest of the family? And that can be a struggle. And I think compassion means meeting people where they're at, understanding you don't know all the circumstances behind the eyes. I just today had a conversation with a dear friend about an experience at a gathering. And we were talking about how not knowing what's going on with someone else. You don't know what experience happened right before they walked in that room. You don't know what experience happened earlier that day. You don't know what's really on their mind. And to assume that you do might lack some compassion, but have some compassion for how somebody might be experiencing something. Maybe they aren't laughing as much as you would expect. Maybe you don't see that joy, but you don't know what's behind those eyes. And compassion means accepting them for who they are, giving them the love, letting them experience how they need to experience those moments, and just being there. That's my perception of compassion and sharing love and empathy towards our family, towards just others in general. Of course, there's all kinds of ways others may experience that as well, but generally speaking.
Yes. I thank you for that thought, because you know what? That is important, but I think here's the thing about it. How do we as a society, or maybe just self-help tips on, how do you identify what one's going through? I know people's like, that means I have to talk. It means I gotta ask. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I see so much tragedy. I mean, we just had, what was that college that got shot up in Brown's College University in Providence? I mean, we're talking about, this is holidays. Did somebody get killed? I don't know.
I don't know the whole story, but there is a lot going on in the news with tragedies of people passing, and sometimes the holiday marks for certain people the loss. What became a moment of getting together and joy now also marks a loss, and that's a lot to comprehend and put together. Like I said, I also experienced a loss of not having one of my children present with us during Christmas, and that's hard around the holidays to deal with. And I have found that I'm able to recognize sometimes in others when they're experiencing it. There's almost this, you see that look and you know the look, and you're like, and maybe it's a little bit of projecting, but a lot of times you just kind of feel that pain that another parent is feeling, and just going up and saying, hey, how are you doing? I mean, someone came up to me the other day and just said, just very genuinely, how are you doing? And it wasn't just a, hey, how are you doing? And the way it was said, it really touched my heart. And even though I wasn't going to go behind on what's really going on in my brain, it really touched me that there was a genuine care. And you don't know who you may say that to in the workplace, at the store, just a smile, a hello, that can make such a difference. But yes, an opening of a conversation, and if they want to talk, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but just knowing that someone is there to care. And also inviting and reaching out to people who are alone. I know at Thanksgiving, I have a dear friend and colleague who joins us at Thanksgiving, and this Thanksgiving, what they said as part of their thankfulness was being with us as a family. And it meant so much to me because I hold that person so dear for all the things they've done in my life. I didn't even look at just having them over as doing something for them, but they did. So there are extending invitations to people who aren't people who maybe normally come over for your holiday. That's another way to extend some compassion and empathy. Also giving people space. There are the space that may be needed. So the holidays may demand togetherness, right? But not everybody is ready or can handle that based on their situation. So like, for example, in family law, if it's the newly divorced season, the newly season where you don't have a child over Christmas, it's a lot to handle. And some people process that inwardly. And instead of imposing on them that you must be here at a certain time and making them feel bad or having a relative get mad, but just some understanding that they need space and be there and have a little bit of acceptance that they may be having a process that they're going through with that as well. And I'm mostly thinking of adults, but I don't want to forget the children. So in family law, we do experience children who still have a holiday that is different from how they ever had before. It may be, I was always with mom and dad, but now I'm just with dad. Now I'm just with mom. Why can't I be with both? Why am I waking up in a different house? We don't always fully address that with the kids. We just expect them to be resilient and handle it. Oh, they're getting presents, they'll be okay. But they are going through this process too. And so having compassion. So maybe the grandparents or the aunt or the uncle can kind of recognize that in a child, why their daughter or brother or sister, whatever it is also dealing with that. So that
is wonderful. Yeah. I love how you said that. You know what? I want to touch on some things that you said, because you know what? This is really good, because this is something, remember folks, we're going into the new year, we're going into Christmas, but we're going into a new year. And this self-help tips of compassion across the board is so important, because you can change this. You can change your mind and how you're thinking pattern. You don't have to stay the same. And that's what I'm trying to do. Help you change your thinking pattern to not be closed-minded to the other things that's going out there, that's out there, or other people that's out there. But until then, I'm going to take a brief commercial, and I'll be right back. And I'm still going to be with the most beautiful attorney, Kristin. All right, do not go nowhere, folks. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings.
Even in young individuals, older, communication, active listening, it helps. Because if a person is telling you something, try to listen to something they're saying. I have to say, when you touched about suicide too, people say, oh, well, that's the first time I heard or didn't know. Well, are we not communicating? Are we not talking?
Right.
Because how are
Right.
you not knowing what's going through in this individual's mind? Are we not asking another person? How can you be a wife or a husband and you're in the same home and not knowing what your wife or husband's going through? And then all of a sudden this person commits suicide. I think we need to change that. Where's the communication? Where is not seeking therapy? Is it our pride? Are we ashamed if we're having these thoughts? Because that's where the mental illness is developing even more, because people are not
Right.
sharing or caring enough, or it's a phase, because that's what I'm seeing. And that's across the board. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
who you are. If you could be a celebrity, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could be a server. It doesn't matter. But you're human. So to me, we need to start changing the communication process. We need to talk.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. We are still with the beautiful attorney, Kristin. Come on in, darling. You know, you're so short on here. I don't know if...
I'm short in real life. I don't know.
You know what? You ain't lying. I don't know why you're not on the same level as me. Or maybe my engineer will see that. I'm not sure, but
I'm sitting on a pillow now. Does that? It's like
I know.
phone books. People know what phone books are.
You are something else. I know you are short. You know, you make me feel tired. I love her even more because I'd be like, hey, Kristin, what you doing? I just love it. She's sweet, though. She's sweet. You know, let me touch back on something you said, you know, when we was talking about compassion and about, you know, talking to people. It's hard. And I'm going to say this, you know, there's some time that I be busy in what taking care of my mom and everything. I used to chat on the phone all the time. But I find myself, sometimes you do need to chat anyway. You need to call people, do a checkup, and just say hello. And if you can text them, hey, how you doing? You know, just shout out. I think that is important because around these times, you don't know what one's going through. But not even just that you don't know. Sometimes we just get lost in the sauce and we're doing so much other things. Like even when I went to this gala, there's so many people that take care of their elderly parent too. And one had a story and said, you know, his elderly parent had died, and for those 3 years, he didn't go nowhere. He just took care of his elderly parent. But he said one thing he regrets is that he should have did some things for himself too, because he feel like he lost a lot of stuff. But he said it was really no one to talk to. I'm just going through it. So when you think and you hear a story like that, you say, yeah, if you had checked in with someone who's doing that, you maybe be able to help them, you know, with what they're going through mentally. Because sometimes I feel like, you know, just doing a mental check on someone, because I don't have it all together. I mean, I'm trying. I asked God to get me through. And the things I go through on my mom, I just keep thinking to myself, I want to get older. Is this going to be like this? I mean, is it going to be this difficult? I mean, this caring, I'm on healthcare facilities, not really dependable. I mean, are people going to cut things off? I mean, we're not going to be able to survive. I mean, we think we're in our prime, and this over 50 is kind of worrisome because you don't know, and you have these children. You want them to be able to acknowledge you. But then, as you said, you just don't know what their directions are either. And you love them, but you just don't know what's going on. And you got to, you know, try to keep it together. And then these moments. And if you don't see one or two, like I have my kids, they different ages, you know what I mean? And you mentioned about parenting and all that, like this is my situation with my son, him being an adult already, kind of like adult decisions. And I have to be like, okay. So, and don't get me wrong, too early on, but that's okay. I'm coping, right? But I do see a little improvement, him doing whatever. But, eventually you come to that high that you're like, oh, I do need my parents, even not the financial, but just the mental support. My day is not going that great. And who can I talk to? Sometimes it's like that. So I see all the kids doing that. So I'm very fortunate that I'm able to chat with them or pull it out of them because I'm a nosy mom. So I am. I think my kids will say that. You're just nosy. You just don't give up. Just nosy. You just keep asking. It's like a bad kid, like, can I go? Can I go? I'd be like, tell me more. Tell me more. What happened? What's going on? I'm just that person. And I just get it out even if they don't want to give it. So and I think I do that because I don't want to be assuming that they're all right. Just like assuming if my friends are okay or my mom or my siblings. I mean, we have this chat that I do. And I want people to understand this is self-help tips on some things you can do. Some people are annoyed with the fact you got messenger texting, you got group texting. You know what? I don't care if you're annoyed, but think about if you don't hear nothing. Just think that for a minute. At least you're getting that. That's a form of communication. Even if you have, siblings that don't hang out all the time. I formed a text group that I utilize at times for all my siblings. There's 8 of us, and I'm just like, here you go. Now, don't get me wrong. I may not hear from none of them, but 1 or 2 may. And then it depends what the story is. You might hear everybody, I don't know. But I know they're on there. And I know if something was to go on, I just keep updates and be like, hey, you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And that's it. Sometimes you just got to do that. And individually, I may reach out to them. But sometimes everybody's, life is lifing. But that's my trying. I'm not perfect. But this is what you can go into the new year. If you don't feel that you could just call on the phone and be like, do a text, simple group, put all the ones that you're thinking about, even if it's friends and you haven't spoke to your friends, put a group text. And now let me tell you something. I know you might say, ain't nobody respond, but guess what? It might be one day they will. I have to say that because you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked because doing a welfare check on people, it's something we should do because after 50, I feel like I'm seeing people drop. And it's like, wow. I've seen them drop, but this is like speeding up the ball here. And I'm serious. I'm like, didn't I just see that person?
It's scary. And, I've always said if you have that feeling or notion that you're thinking about something, a lot of people feel this too, that I'm thinking about, there's a reason. Why did that get placed on me to think about that person? And text, call, and how many stories have you heard from people that said because I called that person in that moment, something good came of that might have not turned out that way. I have actually heard more than one story of a person who had called in a moment they had no idea that anything was wrong with their friend, but they were on the brink of suicide. I mean, it was that serious. And hearing the stories like that and that have really happened, it just, you call. Recently, I called someone just to check. I thought I was calling to check on them. And in reality, it turned out I had a lot that I needed to get off my chest about my life. And it's so, well, how did this happen? And they're like, oh, you needed the call. So it helps to reach out. And I know it can be hard for some people to do that. But, like you said, even just a text, hi, you don't know what that might mean to that particular person.
You know what? And it's true. You just call and just a little text. You just never know what someone's going through. I feel like my nose is on there. Okay. Make sure. I mean, I think I'm getting a little cold because it was a different weather where I was at. And to this weather, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm hoping I'm not.
Indiana just changed from freezing to 50 to into.
Ain't that the truth? In the snow and everything. I'm like,
and now it's thunderstorming. It's just unreal.
Mother Nature is on it. Okay.
Yeah, she's
on it today. I think, she may be menopausing. I can feel you on that.
I feel that very much. I am one with that. I understand her changes.
Okay. In the new change, right? We got names for them. New change. It just make us feel good. You going through the new change? Oh yeah. I'm almost done with my new change, but it do come back here and there say, "Hey, I'm not done yet." I'll be like, what? Oh my goodness. You know what? We are going to take a brief commercial and we're going to come back and give you some more self-help tips. And because we want you to have a wonderful new year coming in and Christmas in just the next day. How's that? We'll be right back with the amazing and talented and beautiful attorney Kristin and Dr. Meleeka Clary show. Powered by Sweet Records. Do not go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back.
Tell me a little bit about what you do as a clinical psychologist.
Well, I see clients regarding depression, bipolar, personality disorders, because we know we have many out there. Yeah. So I help people deal with that and their families and everything like that.
And of course, mental health right now at the forefront, so important as people really start to kind of work on. I feel like we're gaining ground to understand that it is something that we can talk about, that we can seek help for.
Yes, it's been important. I think a lot of people didn't realize how important it is since the pandemic, but it's been important, just like physical, your medical condition. So yes, I've always thought it was, but I'm glad that we're getting help. And you know, people are identifying it, because that's what's important. Many people wasn't identifying mental health issues. They just thought, oh, maybe you're having a bad day. Mm-hmm. No, that's labeled depression. If you're constantly having that bad day, every day you're waking up with that feeling, you need to seek help. You need to talk about it, communicate.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show, powered by Sweet Recordings. Come on, attorney Kristin. Welcome back, beautiful. You know what? Oh, you're welcome, my dear. You know, that last segment, I really love these reels because it hits on it. You know what people go through and how we identify depression and grieving, and to feel like, oh my gosh, the world is just on us, just heavy. First of all, I want to tell people, you're okay. If you're grieving about a situation, you could be okay. And depression is not saying that I have to stay depressed. It's all right to be depressed about a situation. Okay. So when people say I'm always depressed or I'm labeled depressive, a mood depressive disorder, you don't have to go that far because you lost somebody in your family, you had tragedy. That doesn't mean you're always depressed. That means you're grieving. And you're entitled to grieve. People need to understand that. Don't stop labeling yourself because of an event that happened in your life or a tragedy. Do not learn that. And I had a segment that went to that, levels of depression. I want people to really understand that. And it's all right. So here's my kind of advice to you going forward in this new year. Not just the next day, but let's say if you're one of those that like to put stipulations on what you want to do in the new year. And I know Kristin might have a couple of herself to say, hey, here's some suggestions. Compassion's one of them. And I have to spread that. And I think I'm going to keep on explaining compassion because you don't know what one's going through. And that's in the hospital field, healthcare field, and in the judicial system as well, the legal system. Compassion people. I know your judges and your lawyers and doctors, and I know, but you still need to have compassion about your patients, clients, defendants, plaintiffs. They have families. People have things they go through. I know there's a difference in the legal system. You really don't want to be like, all that, but you should because, people are entitled to feel the way they feel, and you just don't know why they did what they did or what happened or what's going on. And as Kristin has said, in family law, it's very challenging because you got some parents that probably one custody, y'all. I don't know. And I'm going to say one custody, right? But are we really winners? I don't think so. And because it's always going to be a parent that's going to feel left out in some situation when we just can't get along because we are not realizing that this child did not get here by themselves and we wanted them here, and we just kind of not really want to understand that we need to work it out just for them because they was on an invitation and we invited them. So sometimes you want to take that with you and realize that. So if you think you won something, you didn't. Winning is probably communicating with other parents, saying, how can we work this out? And one thing I love that Kristin has said is that you can't get together on that special day, but you guys could work it around any day. So if another parent can't get this, then you get that day or this day or whatever. You work it. And it really doesn't matter because you're still able to share that time. And that's kind of what I do. Like I said, we're putting the tree up on the 23rd. Well, yeah, the 23rd, because now all of them can make it on other days. So that's it. And that's what I get. And I'm like, I'm good. Let's do it. I'm good. And so I work it with everybody because I have adult children, basically. And they got lives. They got men in their lives and maybe a girlfriend. Not sure. He liked the girl. I don't know. The girl like her. I don't. Anyway, I can wait for it, but I keep hearing it, so I'm not gonna put him out there. He got friends, but you just don't know if they want to do things with them. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't know. So you go through it. So you go through it. You just go through it, life, and it's just part of it. So what I want you guys to understand is that. Think about compassion going forward. Think about someone else too, but self-care is important. And I want you to take that in that year. Whatever self-care is for you, try to do that because that is so important not to leave yourself out. And that I really have to say that because going out of town, I haven't been doing a lot of it. But if I could take my mom, oh my gosh, but she doesn't have pneumonia no more, but she does have dementia and things are just, still, but and dealing with it, but she needs more work than less. But I will say that if I can get a chance to do something, I'm going to do it. Why? Because taking care of somebody helps you understand that you need to take care of yourself, because if you want to get to that age, you got to do better. And I'm going to tell you, you got to do better, because watching somebody diminish, it's the worst thing you can see. But then sometimes you say to yourself, if you just stood up a little bit when you walk, if you walked, your postures, you know what I mean? If you did certain things, maybe exercise a little bit, maybe this would have been prevented on some of the things that you see elderlies, just diminishing. So that's something I want to tell you people. Start taking care of yourself and start self-care and having compassion going forward. I mean, really, people, we got to do better. And I'm just hoping that everyone have a wonderful New Year and Christmas. But this is an everyday self-help tip. Kristin.
I think everything you said is wonderful. But one thing that really stuck out with me when you were talking about compassion and then the criminal justice system, all those things, I don't want people to forget that a very important component of justice and the concept of justice includes compassion, compassionate justice. And so even in the legal system, that is a very important element that exists and should exist. Whether or not everybody sees it or experiences it all the time doesn't mean that it's not there and isn't supposed to be there. And as judges, attorneys, parties in the system, I do see people remembering that, experiencing that, and trying to make that come forth. And as a reminder to others that element does exist.
That's right. And, and that's everyone, because at the end of the day, everyone, and it doesn't matter what profession you are in, have people in their life, family members, friends. So that's everyone, because even if you are a lawyer, or even if you are a judge, or paralegal or a doctor, whatever. I know they got to go home and they have a family and they go through something. So compassion, that, like you said too, you know, it might be people off for the holidays, but you're not. And you have to watch somebody else's family might have to be separated or something. And you see this. So, you know, sometimes we all got to look at that as, hey, we have to have compassion with the person is trying to help you with. Because we're not perfect people, but we are here to try. So let's go in this new year with compassion, understanding. And if you got some elderly parents out there, shout at them and say, hey, how are you doing? You know, try to do something because, you know, if they want it their way, they want to be out before you, you know, and that's the way that goes. I mean, you know, just saying. So you got to try to take care of elderly people because, you know, what they go through now, it's unbelievable because there's so many things being taken away from the elderly. I can't imagine, but I don't want to imagine, but it's happening and I'm seeing it. And it kind of gets me a little weird to say, hey, is this going to happen to me if I get to that age? So I'm trying to do the best I can. Prayer is one of them. I have to say, prayer is one of them. And so God will get me there. He's going to get me. He's going to be my hands and hold me through because, woo, Jesus, that's all I got to say. I'm serious. Because it's scary. I mean, you know, I was very disappointed in a dentist about not too long ago. And just the customer service part, they sent my mom out after they finished her teeth. And I hate to say that. I don't want to put them on blast. But I'm not going to say your name. But I did, you know, tell them, how do you send her out here like that? And you don't help her put her teeth back in her mouth. What's wrong with you? And they were like, and I was like, when you want your teeth back in your mouth? I mean, yeah. Oh, she could do it. Does she look like she can do it? She all out and she I was like, come on, people. What? Just compassion. I said, give me some stuff and I'll put her in her mouth. What's wrong with you? You're a dentist. Oh my God. I just was like, Jesus help me. And they were apologetic, but this is what I'm saying. Just compassion that she's in a wheelchair for one, and you know, if she could do it herself, she would have did it and then coming out in the lobby and you wheeled her out. And I don't know. Like I said, let's go in this year. People thinking about other people besides yourself, because one day you want to get there. And what would you think and feel when someone does that to you? I'm sorry, people. I mean, you know, what's that little saying? Treat people the way you want to be treated. I think that's it. I want to be treated good. If I treat you good, treat me good. You know, and I'm just saying compassion goes across the board. So let's try to enjoy this holiday season, but also enjoy the day, but also let's take some self-help tips about compassion in whatever profession you are in. Compassion, because you don't know what that person is going through. And even a server who's serving your food, they're there, but you don't know what happens after. And me, I have to say that because it could just be that person. She or he's smiling in front of you, making you happy, serving food. Well, what happens behind the doors? We don't know. So just saying thank you, appreciate your services, something goes a long way. I think you mentioned about that. And I want to say that to you. And I know you're not going to see me in a couple weeks, but I'll be thinking about you. But you can still follow social media because I do stuff. So you know that. And I think I am all set. You know, Kristin, it was a pleasure having you on the show always, my dear.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here as always.
No, you know it. We're going to get you back, of course.
Okay.
Suck everything out of you. She's like, not everything, girl. I still got a little something. And I'll call you after. So it's a pleasure. Thank you again for being on our show, my dear. And I want to say to everyone else, thank you. And I just wish that you all have a wonderful holiday coming, you know. And if no one said I love you, I love you. Okay. I love for you to take care of yourself, and just remember, you're not alone. We're all human. You're not alone. So just enjoy this day that God gave you, and the next day give you one. And if you get to the holidays, enjoy it. Don't think about anything. Just think about the moment and try to do that. Just try to do just that. May God bless you all, and thank you again for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, powered by Sweet Recordings. God bless you all, and take care.